Welcome back to B2B Blueprint, the series where we explore the strategies and tactics for success in B2B SaaS marketing. Today, we're going all in on content strategy. Creating a winning content strategy can seem overwhelming, especially when you're just going off keyword data. And how can you really understand your audience enough to create content that resonates consistently? To help us explore a deep content strategy, we're joined by Senior SEO Strategist, Gabby Gurrister. Gabby is going to help us move beyond the basic top-of-funnel topics and help your brand become a thought leader. We'll explore the challenges, the tech stack, and the actionable steps to elevate your content game. Hi, Gabby.
Hi, Matt.
We're excited to have you here to talk about content strategy planning with us. So why don't we go ahead and jump right in? From your perspective, what is content strategy planning?
Well, I would say that content strategy planning is really the backbone of your SEO strategy and for driving new people to your website. So essentially, it's just figuring out what are those topics and those keywords that you're going to target and create content for. And then ideally, that content will attract new users who will become, have an affinity for your brand and then eventually sign up for your product.
So why is content strategy planning beneficial or important to clients who are hoping to grow their business?
It's so important, especially in this day and age, just because to be successful in the organic channel, Google cares a lot, and other search engines care a lot about the breadth and depth of your content library, because that's where you showcase your expertise and your authority as well as your trustworthiness. So the classic EAT acronym that everybody cares about. So anyways, by having a really in-depth library that shows that you know what you're talking about and that you have that depth of knowledge about a certain topic, you're more likely to win out over somebody who has only they might only have one article on the subject, but you're the expert, so you're more likely to outperform someone else.
So how does this all work? What's the process?
Yeah, so typically, especially with new clients, what we'll do is we take a look at your existing content library and we look for any gaps that you may have. And I like to make sure that all the foundational topics are covered. So for instance, if you're a marketing agency, you better have content around what is SEO, what is PPC, kind of like those basic topics that if you're not talking about it, you really should, because they are your foundation. Then we'll kind of take a look at the funnel, right? Do you have enough bottom of funnel content, whether that's pages that will drive conversion versus top of funnel, like are you really bottom heavy and you're not getting in a lot of volume, or vice versa? Are you getting lots of high volume, top of funnel traffic, but you don't have anything to support that bottom of funnel conversion? And so we want to think about how can we have a really strong sales funnel that is related to our content. So that's kind of like the initial process, but where things start to get more challenging is within year 2, because by year 2, we've covered all those foundational topics. We may have hit on some of like the obvious target keywords that we wanted to go after. We at Directive love jobs to be done content. So we might already have a lot of that already, kind of taken care of. And a lot of strategists, I think, can feel a little bit tapped out creatively and can't really think of, what's the next step. And especially, to start to think about those deeper topics, it really requires you to fully understand your client and their industry and what those most important topics are and how do you get to that deeper level that shows you understand it, not just those easy top of funnel things that are like, what is, or how do you do this?
Absolutely. So is there like a solution to taking your content to that next level, like any methods for being proactive?
Yeah. Definitely. So, there's 2 approaches you can do. One of them is super easy and passive, which is you can set up a Google alert that for any sort of like topic or keyword that you're interested in, and Google will send you those articles. So for instance, if you have a client that is trying to enter an emerging market or they're trying to create a new category, you can set up a alert for that and you'll get information to your inbox about, emerging articles And maybe you'll start to see your clients show up more, or you'll start to see new competitors. And that can be a great way to spur some new ideas. But another idea that is a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like intensive, a little bit more manual, that I've used that's worked really well is taking a combination of AI tools, everyone's favorite, and also a little bit of Screaming Frog, and kind of starting off with like a very methodical system. And I can show you how I do that. Okay. The first thing that you want to think about doing is who are the top voices within the industry that you're operating within. So in this example that we're going to walk through, I'm looking at just like marketing, right? But if it was automotive or healthcare or even just B2B, right? You want to think about where are those sources of information or the watering holes that your target audience is looking at. So that's a great place to start, especially just because you'll get more of those timely articles and start to learn more about, what are the big topics that people are thinking about right now. So anyways, what I like to do is I'll go to one of these sites like this and I'll have my list. And what I'll do is I'll pop this into Screaming Frog and then crawl this site, and I'll have this kind of export that comes from it. And in this case, I just pulled all their blogs. I also do a custom extraction for the publish date. So that's just kind of a nifty Screaming Frog capability that you can look up, and it's pretty easy. But so you'll pull out the publish date, which I think, again, very important that you are looking at the most timely articles, right? So in this case, I've filtered so that we only have articles from 2024. And keep in mind, this is just a sample size. This isn't their full extent of their library. But from there, what I also want is their H1s and then their title tags. Meta description is just a nice thing to have. But what we're going to do is then we'll take these H1s and we'll copy this list and we'll actually paste it into ChatGPT. And you can use you can use Gemini if you wanted, whatever your AI tool of choice is, but you'll just pop this in here. And my prompt for this is, what are the top 3 themes in this list of blog titles? You could have it be 10. You could have it be a very specific, prompt of, are there any B2B themes in this list of blog titles, right? Whatever it needs to be, but I like to start with this because I like to go big idea to smaller ideas. So anyways, you'll write in your prompt here, copy and paste your list in, and then what you'll get is this lovely categorization and organization of those blogs. So now you have the top 3 themes, and these are pretty broad because marketing is kind of a broad subject, right? But then that's where you start to go in deeper and start to narrow in. So we have innovation and growth, and now we can kind of see what are those specific articles related to that. And then you can just start to look for patterns. So for instance, adaptation and challenges in marketing. That's a great theme, classic marketing topic that's going to probably show up in every single list. But now I can look at these individual titles a little bit closer. And already I see AI is mentioned twice. No surprise there, but that's really helpful, right? Now we kind of start to have an organization. We're starting to absorb it a little bit more about what these big themes and topics are going to be. So then from there, I'll copy and paste this back into another tab and just kind of list this out. And then I'll repeat that all over again with another resource. I'll use competitor data. I'll use another news outlet like that one. I'll even scrape LinkedIn, or if you have a Slack community or some sort of community like that, you can just copy and paste it straight into ChatGPT and ask it for common themes. And then from there, it's all about just kind of a manual kind of thing where you're going in and looking at, all right, what's showing up a lot? And then I start connecting it to my client. Then I start looking at these topics and I start thinking, all right, what's the business angle, what's a natural fit. And then at the very end, then I start looking for keywords. So it's really thinking about topic first, client and target audience next, and then keywords. Because we'll find the keywords. There's always keywords to be found, but the topics is what's hard.
That's fascinating, Gabby. Thanks so much for walking us through that. Really cool to see how you're using AI. Really cool to see how you're using Screaming Frog and the possibilities out there for generating kind of an endless array of content topics. So how do you measure performance and optimize your content strategy?
Yeah, so from there, it's kind of going back to all your classic metrics. Since it is content, we're going to be looking at traffic, new users, clicks and sessions, which fall under traffic, of course, and then impressions. Is our visibility going up in these areas? And then, of course, we care a lot about conversions. So are we driving more conversions within these different areas? And what I always like to think about is, what is that bottom of funnel page that will connect to these themes? So this is really helpful if you're doing it through industry, right? If we're going to write a bunch of articles that are targeting healthcare, for instance, I would really hope to see a lot more people show up on our bottom of funnel healthcare page, just kind of following that journey through. So that's definitely one of the more important things, right? Is looking at conversions, because this content can really span the top to the bottom of the funnel. So ideally, we want to see that come through.
And what results are you seeing from using this strategy?
We've seen some really fantastic results. So I had one client, we had kind of this big theme around smarter marketing and being intelligent with your marketing, especially during tough economic times. So it was really topical, so very relevant to a lot of marketers. So within that first group of content that we pushed live, we actually saw 122% increase in site traffic the very next quarter. So really just like short-term strong growth just from that group of content. And then we had another kind of related but smaller group that we pushed live a little bit later. And we had actually only had 2 of those go live, 2 of the pieces from that group go live. And that increased by we brought in 1,000 clicks within 1 month across 2 pages. And then those actually started bringing in conversions just across those 2 pages. So we really found something that marketers cared about. And I think we did a great job resonating and actually adding something new to the conversation, and not just another what is this? It's here's this, and here's how you should be thinking about it today. So it was really successful.
Sounds like the content resonated, so congratulations. You hit it out of the park for sure. Thanks so much, Gabby, for sharing all these great insights. So cool that we uncovered the essentials for creating a powerful content strategy that goes beyond the basics. Moving past the basic keyword data, utilizing AI and Screaming Frog, and reviewing performance and making adjustments as you go, as we found out, are all super important to create content that resonates with your audience. Gabby, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Matt.
Good stuff. So to our viewers, keep innovating and keep improving. Bye, everyone.